ball, 6 people. Each person get a partner and a ball. And all you're going to do is spread out a little bit to like a comfortable range, and then just practicing bumping and setting with each other for a little bit. But before you do that, just remember, bump ideally you want to make a fist with one hand, kind of just grasp it with the other. I don't think it really matters that much how you place your thumbs, but some people say you don't put your thumbs on top of one another, just kind of look at the side, and then kind of want to guide with your wrists and elbows the ball when you bump. Set, make a diamond, bend your knees a little bit, push up with your fingers, don't try to like slap the ball, just little tidbits, and then get to it, just warm up a little bit for like a few minutes, and I'll call you back in a moment.
Okay, so just a warm-up, that's appropriate. It's on their own, so it's not teacher guided. The assumption here is that they already have done this before. And due to the fact that this is a tactical games approach, I'm sure that the teacher is going to show a tactical aspect in a couple of minutes.
Make sure you're utilizing both hits right now, because we're going to practice both of them as lessons begin to go on. Off the wall. That was silly. That couldn't happen any better. This ball is pumped up. All right, hold the balls. Everyone come and gather right in front of me real quick. I was watching and I was noticing that, sometimes the ball isn't going to be directly coming at you, right? You ideally want to try to get under the ball as best as you can, but sometimes the ball is going to be to your left or to your right. So those are the times when, especially when you're doing the bump, you want to angle your body, angle your kind of arms a little bit downward, so you can drive the ball to wherever you need to on the other side of the court, ideally, right? So that's something we're going to practice with a little bit here too, where if you look around, I have some poly spots set up that form some squares. So each partner group is going to go to a poly spot square, and what they're going to do is, with your partner, one person's going to have the ball. Dan, come in and demonstrate. So whoever has the ball, you can go on this side. They can stand in the middle. Dan is going to start off at one of the poly spots. And all we're going to do is, as Dan starts moving to the other poly spot, they're going to move back and forth in between them. The person with the ball, as they get to maybe like about the midpoint, you're just going to toss them up the ball, and they're going to try to get under it so you can keep going out. And the first thing they can do is they can practice the bump. So as he's moving to his right there, he's going to try to angle it. He's going to try and angle his bump so that it goes directly back to me, because he's at an off angle compared to where I am, right? So then when he goes back to the left, he's going to do the same thing, but he's going to angle his bump the other way and try to get it back to me. And then with the set, after you do the bump for maybe like a minute or two, you can start doing the set. So as it's going back, kind of maybe throw it a little higher. And Dan's going to try to get it directly under the ball and just try to set it directly back towards me. All right, we got it? Okay, so with your partner, there's a poly spot square over there, one right here, one right here. I want the bump for about a couple minutes, and then I'll tell you to switch to the set. You can start when you're ready.
Okay.
If you want,
Few observations here. The problem here is ball placement. Ball placement in the sense that since I put in the opposing court, it's about the students finding a gap, and as they move around, see where is it that they're going to be sending the ball towards. The warm-up, okay. I didn't see the association with what they're going to do. At the same time, I didn't hear, even though I did say what the problem is, at least the tactical goal, I didn't necessarily hear what is it that he is trying to achieve here. But then you could look at the condition. It seems that they're going to start with the bump and then we're going to move to the set. But in regards to opposing team, one reason why in this case it's only them by themselves teaching, only one teacher, is because now you're going to have a little bit of more quorum, so you can just have like a 3 against 3, right? Which in this case in particular can be done. So even better to have that type of setup, because again, if it's an opposing court, then it's about how they're going to be placing that ball, where they're going to be sending the ball to. Here is a one-on-one. There's no placement. Yeah, you're just at the same time. The task here, the condition here is that they're going to send it to the partner. So it's a straight shot. Even though they're angling it, it's a straight shot.
If you haven't switched yet.
So not necessarily what we're looking for in terms of the tactic. Again, you have to associate the tactic with what happens in gameplay. This is more at the level of the movement and skill, not necessarily as a tactic. The tactic looks for them to beat that opponent, right? So again, it was about ball placement. And that's what you do in volleyball, right? You just want them to miss the ball by placing it in a spot in the opponent's court where they cannot get it back, send it back to them. This is more movement development. It's not the tactical aspect of it. Well thought when it comes to developing the skill of the bump and the pass. Well thought, but not necessarily applicable to tactical.
The balls. Everyone come back to me real quick. Stand from me right here. What we're going to do next is, in a game, ideally the best way you kind of want to get the ball across the court in a way where the other team can't really return it is you'll see people try to spike the ball. Because like when you spike it and you hit it really hard, the other team has a lot less time to get to the ball, get under the ball. It's a lot harder to return the ball back. And what precedes the spike often is someone will try to set them up. And that's really important because the set is obviously, it precurses the spike, which is like the ultimate kind of way to get a point. So what we're going to try to do is, since getting out the nets would be kind of a hassle, I think what we're going to do is we're going to use the top part of the wall where you see like green brick or that mat right there. We're going to imagine the top of that as like the top of the net. And what we're going to do is you and your partner are going to go by the wall and we're going to practice with one person with the ball.
Last question.
Yes, Ryan, do you want to come?
Sure.
And all we're going to do is we're going to try, you can stay across from me, get a little bit of distance. Yeah. And we're going to imagine like you're setting up someone to spike it about like this height. So when I toss the ball up to you, you're going to want to try to set it. Oh, we can do it again. You're going to try to want to set it back to me, but in this kind of general area right here. And then if you want, you can jump up slightly, like kind of mimic what a spike would look like. You don't have to really hit it, obviously. It's right up against the wall, but want to practice that with the set for a couple minutes, and then after, if you want to try, because not every time you can get off one of the hits that you do right before you have to hit it over in volleyball when you only have 3 hits. Sometimes you might have to bump. So if you want, after a couple minutes, try doing that with the bump. Trying to set up, imagine like an imaginary spiker, set them up with the bump. So anywhere along the wall, remember the top of the green bricks or the top of this mat right here. You can imagine that as a net.
Yeah. So you can throw it with me? I guess I'll throw it and I'll set it back.
See, in this situation, I will have to also call it. It's not what you want to do. You know, you have a wall. It's not meaningful in the sense that it's not what happens unless what they're doing is just to contact a high point and they just push off as an introduction to the spike. Maybe that's what you wanted to do. About 4 more minutes, Jordan. 4 more minutes.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Meaningful in the sense that it's tactical, so it's about getting into association with what they're going to do in gameplay. This is not. This is. I don't think there's an effectiveness in here, unless it was mostly about them understanding high point of contact, which is what happens in the spike, and using the point of reference on the wall as what they're looking for. But the thing is that you do this exercise, and the risk is that you get into bad habits, because again you have a wall, and that's precisely what you're not going to have on the other side with your opposing team. So yeah, some observations here in regards to the tactical games approach.
Yeah, got a shot. If we're going to play downtown to do it, I did volleyball more. I played like 11 games this weekend. A lot of
Yeah, you can move on to the.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a good game idea. I wish I had a net more, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that would have been too much of a hassle.
No, it's okay. Just run it what you have, real quick.
Okay. I'm gonna hold the balls. Come back to me. We're gonna try a game where the cones will represent the net. And there's gonna be, so there's 6 of you, 3 in each team, 1 ball. There's 4 poly spots on each side of the court. Each of you are gonna fill up a poly spot. So there should only be 1 empty poly spot. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do like kind of like a mock game where you can only bump or set to the other side. You have to, I think we're gonna do it where you have to hit it once at least on your side before you hit it over. So there's gonna be 2 hits in total before it gets sent to the other side. And you can only move between the poly spots basically. So you're gonna move in like a square.
But that's the idea. This is how it's supposed to be starting. It's supposed to start with this type of game because it's about ball
So we're just
placement.
gonna
So
play
they
a
have to
game,
do
I
a
don't know,
point of
27 or
reference in
something.
each one of the sides.
We'll play out the time.
point of reference, so they know where they're going to be sending the ball. The two conditions before don't necessarily apply to tactical games approach.
How about Dan? No one wants this. Sorry. I'll leave you here. Everyone gets on a poly spot. Alright? And we can serve from the front, so make it easier. Alright? You can start off by
In this case, when it comes to no net, the teacher can call if it's fair or net by standing there. As a point of reference. So he's gonna be the judge, and he can say that in terms of the modification of the game. But here is mostly about the feedback. Should be mostly about where is it they're going to place that ball. So see the empty spot back there is about aiming at that spot. You see the empty spot right here is about aiming at that spot. And this would be a very good idea if you had it like structured, for them to get an idea of where is it that they're going to be placing. Again, 3 against 3 is beautiful for this type of exercise when it comes to ball placement.
So once the ball is in the air, you can leave the poly spot.
1 more minute. See, for example, that shot right there.
Wait, pause it super quick. You see what she did there, where she placed it exactly where no one was.
See, that's exactly what your lesson should have been from the very beginning. So the lesson got to start taking a structure based on what was required, but just at the very end. But this is good for you to hear and for you to see, because this is exactly the tactical. This is exactly what you're looking for. It's not about the bumping or the passing. It's just about ball placement. If you see that there's a problem with the skills themselves, then you can always just send it so they have an idea, and then just give it a try with the respective tactic, ball placement.
Alright, when Danny gets the ball, we can bring it in. What do you think is really important in volleyball when you're either setting, when you're setting the ball, right? Like, what do you mainly use the set for?
Give yourself enough, like give your team a chance to select the ball. Set it up at an angle where the other team can play.
Yeah, you're trying to like place the ball in an opportune spot so that your teammates can be able to send the ball over to them. I think that's about it.
Okay. Thank you.